Today we're putting two stellar guitars to the test. This is the high-end Japanese acoustic battle for supremacy. Stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name's Chris McKee.
My name's Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas, and you can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you are new to our channel, please subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos. If you want to support the channel, you can visit our spring store link below for our custom swag and check out our podcast, the Fretboard Confessional, wherever you get your podcasts. So we are fans of these guitars. We have showcased both of them on this channel, and we talked amongst ourselves after doing a review with this Yairi that this would be a very cool comparison. And so we're excited about it, and we hope you agree. We are putting these two to the test. Japanese builders, made in Japan, high-end guitars with similar tone woods. Both of these are mahogany back and sides with Adirondack Spruce tops, and they're getting the requisite high-end treatment from both Yamaha and Yairi.
Oh yeah, I remember all the good times we had walking in the sand with the beautiful guitars that I met made in Japan. Am I right, guys?
Very nice. That
Buck
needs
Owens,
to be on your next album. It's a nice cover.
I'll do a cover of that one. I've been listening to a lot of Buck Owens recently, and that song specifically, and now I'm obsessed with guitars made in Japan even more, even though the song's not about a guitar, but, you know, I'm making it my own, and we've been very excited about this since it launched. Mm-hmm. I love this guitar. We recommend these whenever we have them to anybody that's looking at something that's a nice, you know, high-end acoustic guitar, whether it be the mahogany version or the rosewood version. They've been great. This came in like a week and a half ago. We already did the video running down this one and the OM. OM sold already. Yep. We got more coming. But Dreadnought-wise, you know, we went off about this guitar because it's fantastic. There's a lot of things that I think set it apart from other spruce mahogany dreads. A lot of that probably coming down to the materials that are being used. Mm-hmm. But even you look at Martin & Taylor's high-end spruce mahogany guitars. I mean, you got 517 Builder's Edition, you got D18, you got all the variations of the D18. If you want to get Adirondack, you're looking at D18 Authentic. Mm-hmm. Or a custom shop. And if you want to get Adirondack on a Taylor, again, it's not going to be found with mahogany back and sides. It's going to be custom order. Yeah. We did have a really cool 517 with Adirondack. So if you like that guitar, that's an option too, and it sounds really good. But you're not really seeing Adirondack come standard on mahogany dreadnoughts in major U.S. builders. And if you are, it's coming from custom shop things. Or high-end, really high-end
Gibson
Authentics.
Custom Shop's a similar example. Yeah. If you want Addy, it's going to be custom.
Yeah, and Authentics and Gibson Customs and Taylor Customs are $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. These are right in kind of a similar price range as of right now. The Yamaha is $39.99, and the Yairi is $33.99, I think, off the top of my head. So these are fantastic just based off the value of that when you compare it to other builders. But in terms of sound, absolutely hold their own against every other spruce mahogany dread that we've played. And so, we even got a comment on that video that's like, compare this to the FG9. We're doing it.
Yep, we were way ahead of you. Yeah, and I love it because, you know, you talked about how we will show this off in the store. One of the fun things about this is to say to somebody that is looking at high-end guitars and isn't familiar, hey, do you want to play a $4,000 Yamaha acoustic guitar? And they're like, what? That exists? It does, and it's amazing. Yeah. So I love that this exists first and foremost, and I am a huge fan of it. Both of these guitars are stellar, but it really does showcase that these two Japanese builders in particular, these bench-made, you know, really handcrafted guitars, are at the top of anything you could imagine from a build standpoint. Mm-hmm. You know, you could do all of the inlays and stuff like that, but I'm talking about the craftsmanship that's involved. Yeah. There is, I mean, you don't want to use the word perfection, but you can't really find a flaw on these guitars. And so the execution in both cases is really high. You know, the materials are very similar. That is technically old growth mahogany, but, you know, the species are spot on. at that point, it really just comes down to the philosophy of the builders and the bracing and things like that. And so it's a lot of fun to do an expensive high-end comparison. This is when I go, hey, we've got pretty good jobs.
Yeah, we do have pretty good jobs. So a couple things just right off the bat with just the woods. Interesting to see, and every single guitar is different, but of the FG9s that I've seen, the Addy tops are really tight grained.
Mm-hmm.
And of the two of these that I've held, both of these have really wide grain.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I'm just pointing it out.
Yep.
This mahogany has been kept in a climate-controlled warehouse for decades and decades, and that, to our knowledge, has not, which is fine. That doesn't make it bad mahogany. It just makes it newer mahogany.
That one's also like kind of mottled. You know, it's got some figuring on it, where this is very straight, very traditional-looking mahogany. So.
Both ebony fingerboards, both very tastefully appointed, not going over the top. That one, it feels a little more Western style, and I get that vibe from
Japanese Western style.
Japanese Western,
which we'd call samurai.
Like not a spaghetti Western, but like a ramen Western.
There you go.
Yeah. So I like the rope kind of look on the purfling and the rosette. This one is even simpler, but you do have kind of a little abalone ring there. And I love that both of them have eschewed crazy over the top fingerboard inlay. That one has got kind of our favorite little curve over type thing.
I love this. Yeah.
But this is just 12th fret and then fret dots on the top. And does that have open gear go-tos on it?
Yep, in the Cosmo Black.
So you got Cosmo Black open geared go-tos. Over here you got go-to 510s with the ebony button, which is a nice touch. And I think the finish on the necks of both these guitars are pretty similar. But this one definitely has a little bit more of like a V to C thing going on, which I like. That one's a little more classic C all the way up. And that one has a pick guard.
Well, they both have pick guards. That one's just
that
clear.
One has one that you can see. Yeah. So, and it's that nice kind of thick tortoiseshell kind of vibe. Over here you got the little clear dude.
So they both have very clear classic Japanese aesthetics. Where it is about the beauty and simplicity, and yet executed in their own ways. That one has that Yairi aesthetic to it, and this one, like you said, it is kind of a Western inspired Japanese motif. And I really dig both of them.
Also, if you haven't seen any of our Yairi videos, the bridge design on here, the direct coupled bridge, you've got the pins going straight into the top that's reinforced here, and then on the bridge plate, and that is their own design, their own philosophy on making guitars that don't have bridges pulling up, and transferring more vibration to the top.
Yeah, definitely more vibration, changing that breakover angle at the saddle. That actually does a number of things. Let's get geeky for a minute, right? On an acoustic guitar, you typically want a tall saddle, if you can have it, to where it's set up with the proper neck angle to have low action, but transfer a lot of good energy to the top of the guitar. And if you have an old guitar and what you've been doing to compensate for high action is bringing the saddle down, you should know that that's going to affect the resonance of the guitar, because it's going to affect the breakover angle. What's interesting about the way Alvarez or Yairi have done this with the direct coupled bridge is by having this effectively well below where it would normally be on a saddle, you've got a great breakover angle, and you can have the saddle height lower than you otherwise might. And it will lead then to a really nice transfer of stuff. And like you said, you're not going to have this pulling on the bridge.
Yeah.
Of course, guitars built to this level, that's never a concern anyway, in my mind, but it's a cool design.
It is a cool design, and both of these are things that by themselves we have kind of gushed over, so it's nice to put them head to head. I got to play both, so take a listen.
All right, so there you have it. Fun test. And one of the cool things about doing this is when you're hearing a guitar in isolation, it's one thing. When you compare very similar guitars like this, you really get some insight into the builders' philosophies of things and kind of their goal of what they're doing. Because as similar as these guitars are, they have different voices to them.
Yeah, definitely different voices. I mean, from Addy tops, both of them project really nice. But you expect the mid-range from Mahogany, and it's given us different flavors of mids, you know?
It is. I would describe it as the Yamaha's got like mid, low mid, and this is like mid, high mid.
Yeah.
This is maybe a little bit more articulate than that one where, it's almost oversimplification, okay? People on American Builder say, this about Martin and then this about Taylor. And usually it's like Taylor's bright and Martin's spacey. Neither of those is accurate. You could say that there's a wideness to every note on a Martin and an articulation to most of the notes on most Taylors. Even that's not accurate all the time anymore. There's some of that here. There's like a clear articulation with the way Alvarez has braced this guitar, and that one, there's a bit more wideness to the individual notes.
This is, I mean, again, to oversimplify, my first thought is that this is a lead player's Spruce Mahogany Dread, and this is a singer-songwriter's Spruce Mahogany Dread. However, they can both be used for both those things, and I think the quality of each provides a well-rounded instrument. They're not one-trick ponies, but that is the one that I'd take out if I'm playing an acoustic circle and I need to cut through with some leads. This is the one that if I'm playing by myself and I want to, have a little bit more of that, strong foundation under a vocal or something, this is perfect. But they both rock.
They do both rock. There is another interesting aspect to these. And I do want to preface this with, sometimes I've seen this in the store, people will play a guitar that's louder and think it's better, and it's not. It's just louder. But what's surprising, both of these guitars are loud guitars because they're Addy-topped mahogany back inside acoustic guitars that are made really well. They're going to project. But even Josh was commenting that this guitar is even louder, which is, that's surprising. It's a very, very loud, articulate, guitar. So like you said, lead stuff, particularly someone who wants to like do some flat picking. Yeah. I've said, I don't know if I've said on the channel, I've been doing some Brian Sutton kind of video lessons and working on some flat pick stuff. And out of the guitars I've had, I remember doing one of those lessons. I'm like, I am playing the wrong guitar. He's sitting there with like a vintage D18, and I'm playing this, rosewood spruce guitar. I'm like, this. There's too much sustain. There's too much overtones. This doesn't work. Yeah. I need something like this. And both of these guitars make you go, yeah, should I get one of these instead of a D18 or something similar? So
maybe so.
Yeah. Just really impressive instruments.
We love them, and we will carry them. Luckily, these are not limited guitars. Yeah. These are not guitars that are going to go out of style anytime soon because the body and the woods are timeless combos.
They will go out of stock.
They will.
And I said that with the Yairi video they're not limited. They just don't come in very quickly. Would that be a good way to say it?
Which is one of those things that I understand, both of these being worth the wait.
Yep.
There's some guitars that we talk about that's unbelievable that we can't get such and such very modular electric guitar that's made very close to us relative to where Japan is. If that makes any kind of sense. There's some guitars we have to wait for that I don't know why we have to wait for them. These, I get it. And hopefully we can do our job well enough to make sure that we have a steady supply coming in. But if you can get a hold of one of these, either near you or come into our store, and if you can't find them anywhere close by, call us and let us talk to you about them, because both of these are perfect guitars for really a myriad of players. So, fantastic options.
Absolutely. So if you want to do that, you should go to our website, which is
alamomusic.com. And you can look at all the Yairi stuff. You can look at all the Yamaha stuff, because both of these brands do more affordable guitars really well, too. Mm-hmm. So if these are out of your price range, but you like the philosophy behind either of them, there are things lower down in the price range that you might find that you would really like. but you're not going to be disappointed if you're looking for some in this price range. I think these beat out a lot of $5,000 to $6,000 guitars that I have played, and so I can't make a bad choice.
Very well said. So check out our website, message us on there if you have any questions. We'll be glad to help you out. And if you're new to the channel and guitars are your thing, you should subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos, comment what you think between this comparison, because I'd love to see the comments and how everything kind of came across to you guys. And keep coming back. We'll see you next time.